Well, good day, viewers, and welcome to Noel's Garden Tractors and Firewood. And today is Sunday, April 6th. So I want to show you April showers. There you go. Well, a few hours ago it was April snow. Holy cats. Yeah, it is raining now. We're supposed to get freezing rain, I guess, so. Isn't it just lovely? Just like a little kid playing in a mud puddle. All right, so off we go to the garage because it's not very nice out here. Yeah, it's up and still snowing. Anyway, then we get into the garage and get the fire going, and of course be burning next year's winter firewood. And we got a few things to talk about today, and I even got a list, so it might make the video longer or it might make it shorter. So yeah, and yeah, a few things to talk about. Son's MF8 mowing deck is gone off the bench, so I've got a new project on the bench, so we'll have a look at that. That's what I got to burn. Snow on it. Yep. All right. All right, we're here at the weather station here. We're going to do the weather. We have 1 degree Celsius at the moment. Boy, that's some hot. Holy cats. Yes, sir, 8. And 34 degrees Fahrenheit. And south-southeast winds at 27 miles an hour, so it's a little bit breezy out today. South-southeast winds we rarely ever get here. Anyway, so we're supposed to have rain or snow, and they're talking freezing rain too today, 4 degrees. Tomorrow, 1 degree Celsius and sunny, so it's not too bad. Chance of flurries on Tuesday, 0 degrees, and look at what's that for tonight. Look at that. So, yep. And then we have 3 on Wednesday with chance of flurries. And Thursday, 6 degrees and sort of sunny. That's a good thing. And then nighttime, more flurries. More flurries on Friday, 5 degrees. And showers on Saturday, 6 degrees. So here we are into April, and we're still talking flurries up until April 11th. This weather could continue into May, and I have seen that before. I would guess that we would see this type of weather into about the second week of May. It's very possible. That's going to be nasty. Okay, so what are we going to do now? So today is Sunday, and this is the Sunday afternoon fireside chat. And I've got the fire going. It took a little while to get it going, using the wet wood outside from all the snow on top of it, because I have to burn next year's wood. So I did steal a few from that pile, but I don't want to take that down. I already spent a lot of time doing that. So yeah. So anyway, if you haven't been around since last Sunday, then there's what I got done this week. I got a bunch of wood in. I got a good start on next year's winter wood. So that's a good thing. And the MF12 helped me, loader tractor helped me do that wood. That was good. Now, Sunday afternoon fireside chat. It is April 6th. So we better change that now that I'm thinking of it. We're still in March here. Wow. Certainly feels like March. Let's see what we got for a picture this time now for April. Probably a snowbank. I'll get it here with one hand. Maybe I can't. Come on, you. I think that's it. So I'll take you down here now. Well, there you go now. There's the April picture. April. And like I said, snow. So that's the day that my son and I went and bought the MF-16 that he had. I can't remember how far into April that was, but anyway, it was kind of a nasty day. Snowing a bit, and you can see the amount of snow that's still in the woods there. Yeah, so there's our picture for the next 3 weeks or so. All right, so now we're going to get on to what else are we going to get on here? We're going to look at the list here. Yeah, that's what I want to say. Yeah, okay, so anyway, little update on this here. Where to start? But anyway, I had information given to me by a fellow that who is in England, and his name is Mick. And I just can't quite remember I think it's DGM Forum is his channel. So anyway, Nick gave me some ideas as to what could be going on here. So if you don't know what was going on, what the problem with this was, it wouldn't run. I put used carburetors on it. I put new carburetors on it. It wouldn't work. It might start and run for about a second and then quit. Might. But at the end of it, all it was doing, it was, you pulled it over 3 times, it would just be completely soaking wet. The fuel coming out the exhaust there. So Mick figured that, and I wondered this, but again, like I say, I'm not a chainsaw person, so I don't know. I really don't know yet how it would stay in there that long. Anyway, he figured that it was flooded and the base was full of fuel. Now, you would think over time that would evaporate and go away, but I guess it don't. Anyway, so he suggested a couple of things, so I did those couple of things through the last week or more. And I eventually got it to the point where I could pull it over without the plug in it and not have any fuel coming out of the muffler. When I first started doing that, you could see the spray coming out of the cylinder with the plug in it. And eventually that stopped. And then eventually it stopped putting fuel out the muffler. And so I thought, well, maybe it's starting to dry itself out. So I put the plug back in and pulled it over. Well, I had fuel out the muffler again. So I'd been doing that through the week, this past week, just pulling it over and letting it sit. Nighttime, I'd take the plug out of it and I'd put the cylinder, or put the piston to the bottom in the cylinder and just leave everything wide open as much as I could, and hopefully it would air itself out. So yesterday or Friday or yesterday, it seemed to be kind of coming around a bit. So I thought, well, I'll try it again. So, and I did get it to run, and not for very long, but I got it to run. So that gave me enough interest to maybe keep going. So still not fixed yet. We're still working at it, Nick. But it's certainly a step ahead. I still have the old carburetor on it, and when I took that carburetor apart, it seemed like it was plugged where the fuel went into the carburetor. So I kind of got that cleared out, and the one thing I didn't do was check the needle and seat, the level of the lever. I think the lever is supposed to be level with the body of the chainsaw carburetor. I think. I'm not, like I say, I'm not an expert at this stuff. But the more I watch and the more I listen to people, I'm beginning to kind of catch a few things, Not that I want to get them. Don't go. Don't worry about me moving into your territory, wanting to take the chainsaw work away from you. Ain't gonna happen. Anyway, that's one thing I didn't check on that old carburetor, so I might do that yet. I still have the other new carburetor there that's I put on it. But anyway, yesterday I had it running and I timed it and I had it running here on the bench for about 3 minutes or more. So obviously runs. A lot of people were telling me to throw it out, but I just don't kind of do that kind of stuff. But it's the same as any other saw. It's got a cylinder and a piston and a carburetor and a recoil and muffler and all that kind of stuff. It's no different than a brand name saw, I don't think. It should run. It's got spark. Anyway, so like I say, I did have it running, and I kind of was fooling with it a little bit, but it wouldn't rev up. It would bog, and that would be it. So still more tinkering to do, but at least it runs. And like I say, I timed it, and it was running over 3 minutes. So I'm going to keep going here. I did do a compression test on it. I got 125 pounds about, and I left the tester on it, and it held for over 10 minutes. So then I thought, well, the thing had been pulling over, and maybe I'm not getting the cylinder lubricated properly. So I thought I'd just put a little bit of motor oil in it, and I moved the saw around to get oil all around to the ring side of the pistons, all the way, or the piston all the way around. I did another compression test. I got 145 pounds, and I let it sit, and it dropped 5 pounds in 35 minutes. So I really don't see anything wrong with the cylinder and the piston, in my mind. Now, like I say, I'm not a trained person on chainsaws, and don't want to be. Anyway, I'm going to continue on with it here this week a little bit, and I may take that carburetor off and have a look at that setting I was mentioning, the lever where I call it float setting, but of course it's not. It's a seat setting, I suppose. I don't know what you'd call it. Anyway, if I don't get any further with that carburetor, I'll put that new one on, and we'll see what that does. So that's where we're at with the Poulan saw. Now I'm going to go and find a pen or something, and then I can mark off what I've been talking about here, because I'll only start talking about it again, maybe. All right, let's see now. I can get a hold of this and do it while I'm trying to hold the camera. And of course, the pen won't mark. Here's some, yeah. There, we got that. We got that done. We got this done. Okay. Okay, we got that done. Got that one too. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Son took the MF8 mowing deck that I was working on off the bench, so I had some room. So I got a new project. There's always something here to do. Anyway, Son took that over to his place, and I, of course, went over on Saturdays like I normally do, and we he's got the deck on it and all that kind of stuff. I'm just going to set you down here for a minute, and I'll go and sit down. There now. Yeah, so I spent the morning over there with him doing some work on that. So we had trouble with one of the drive belts, the PTO belt. So I took a bunch of belts from here, and I did end up having to go to Princess Auto and get one. And yeah, it's not taking the belt that it says it's supposed to, but we know because the engine is not the same engine that's in it that was in it when it was new, so there's something different in the height of the engine or where the crank is placed in the motor or whatever. So it changes the length of the belt. So anyway, we found a belt that would fit and would work. Now the other belt that goes from the tractor back to the mowing deck, the one that was on the mowing deck when I was working on it, that's you have to take the couplings off and get the shaft out in order to change the belt. That's the one that was already on there, so it seemed to be too long on the tractor. So we got looking at the deck and figured that the deck was too high on the front, so we kind of did some adjustments on that. And we were just kind of going back and forth, and we did adjustments on the pulley from the engine down to the shaft that goes across that drives the other pulley that drives the deck. So there's some stuff there that we did, and got it to kind of work. So then we took it back in and we kind of folded it a bit more and stuff. Anyway, we figured that we needed a different belt from the pulley on the engine back to the mowing deck. I had information here saying that it should be a 39-inch belt. And the one that's on it we measured was 38 and a half. So that should have worked. But anyway, it seemed like it was too loose. So we were going to get a 38 or a 37 belt and try that. So anyway, I left for the day and he took it outside again, and sure enough, didn't work. So he seemed to think that it didn't slip or anything like that. Although there's no grass to cut, but he was out on the grass and the mowing deck was working. He got into a whole bunch of leaves somewhere and I chewed all them up fine. So it seems like it's working now. We may still have to do some tinkering with the belt length, but he was quite happy with all that. Got the thing. There's a little project that he's been wanting to do for years and years, and now he's got it running and cutting grass. Now I'm sure there's going to be more little troubles here and there, but anyway, it's up and running. That's a great thing. So anyway, there were quite a few different little bits and pieces that came from here to get that little tractor going, and it's not surprising how much you, like I say, keep everything. If I hadn't kept everything, we wouldn't have wouldn't have had it. And hard to say where you'd ever get it. So anyway, between the junk here and the junk at his place, and yeah, it's all going, and that's good. So all right, so now I'm going to get up here. This kind of sounds like it's going to be another one of them long videos. So let's see now. Okay, I think we're pretty well done with all that. So we'll go on to the project that's on the bench here. So we'll get the stuff off of it here. There now. This is from the loader that we got from Gator, and this tower always seems to be leaking oil. And I don't know how much oil's in it, but I don't think it's probably very much. Anyway, so I thought I would take this home and see if I could find where it's leaking and maybe somehow fix it. Now, having it sitting like that all yesterday afternoon and last night, I don't see any leak here. But I'm sure there's a leak because there's a foot or 15-inch round circle on the floor over where it was on the loader underneath right there. That's all wet on the floor, so obviously it's leaking somewhere. So I'm going to clean it all up and brake clean and all that kind of stuff and see if I can see anything. And then what I might do, if I don't see anything, I might see if I can hook up air to it and put a little pressure on it and then use some soap and water and see where it might be coming from. And it's coming from down here at this end. Either in here or somewhere in there, I don't know, but it's certainly not up very high, the leak, because you don't see anything upwards. So that's going to be the next little task here. And see, no oil underneath it, so, but it's wet in there. So what I might do is leave it sitting up like that for the night somehow. And it's wet back here too, but there was nothing out of there from last night for the way it was sitting. So not sure what's up with that. So anyway, that's what's on the bench for the next little bit. We're going to see if we can find the leak there and maybe fix it. And it's probably just a crack somewhere. You can kind of see right there, it's all wet. Anyhow, that's what's on the bench for something for me to do. And some people I think maybe wonder how I do videos every day. Well, there's always something here I can be videoing, so I might as well be doing the videoing. It does get to be a little much at times. So anyway, the more you do these videos, the little bit better you get at them, and it's a little bit faster to do, and so there you go. Anyway, now what's we got to do? Oh yes, the stickers. Oops, I better not forget that. I'll have some people mad at me if I don't do that. Yeah. Okay, sticker time. We'll have to get our fancy studio light on here. I'm telling you, this is just some setup here. There's no garden tractors and firewood on down top. top stuff here. And then we get this, turn a bit. There we go. All right, let's see if I can remember what everybody did this week. Let's see. I've got to get my camera set up here so that it's pointing where I want it to be. Something like that. Now, Grampy's Workshop, that's the first one. And I was thinking of that this morning, trying to remember what he was doing, and I did remember, and now I forget, so. Oh yes, he put up a fan in his shop, and he mounted it on a post so that he can turn it around to point one way or turn it to point it the other way. And he made a box for it, and he set this fan in it, and then he mounted an air filter in it. So the idea is that when he's doing something in the garage, he can turn this fan on, and it can circulate air and trap dust in the air filter. So that was a pretty neat idea. And then we have orange is my new green. Murphy mowers. Oh boy, I've seen that too. Oh yes, that was the one, Murphy mower, yeah. Lee was fixing the tire on the lawn tractor with transmission fluid. And I think he's done that video a couple of times now, but anyway. It's just a quick kind of a fix, and it may last for a year or so, but as some of us know, those lawnmower tires, they get cracks in the side of them, and then they leak air. You'll never ever wear out the thread, but they will leak air through the leaks of the crack. So the transmission fluid goes in, and I think what it does, it kind of swells the rubber and seals up the air leak. So that's kind of slick for a fix. Len's keeping busy. Len's got his power back on, from what I heard. They ran a major storm there, the freezing rain and stuff, and knocked out power for quite a while. Garden tractor boy, he was working on his Landmaster, I think it's called, something like that. I think it was a little tractor that they had, and they were fixing that up, and they had no information on this tractor. So they borrowed one from somebody that they know, and these tractors aren't very common apparently. And so they kind of got that tractor, they fixed up their own from looking at this other tractor, and they ended up finding a manual for it, and it's actually an MTD built tractor. So they were able to get a manual for it. And they had it out running and driving and cutting the grass and all that stuff. It's a neat little tractor. It wouldn't be something you'd want for 3 or 4 acres, but for a smaller yard, it'd be a great little thing. And in the backyard with Dell, and the boat above, and the garden tractor boy again. GBL, Old Church, 5 Acre Homestead. Kenny, Open Air Adventure. Oh, Kenny had a video or not? Can't remember that. Might have been a short that he had there. Anyway, Kenny's all about firewood. If you like watching firewood stuff, there's the place to go to. He and Winston get out and into the woods and cutting firewood, and use the case tractor with the trailer, and bringing mostly birch and maple. That's what their kind of wood is there in that location. So. And then we have Dave, RCAF Polar Express, and Dave was out moving snow. I told Dave a few weeks ago not to be taking snowblower off, but he did. And there he got some snow, so he had to push it all with his plow on the front. So there you go. The last hurrah, I think, maybe, for snow moving for Dave. I don't know for sure. Then we have maintenance with Mike. Mike was having trouble with his roller that he fills with water to roll his driveway, and it ended up with a crack in the weld of it, so it was leaking water out, so he welded all that up. And then we have Lewis Mowers and Boats. Not sure if there's a video or not. Then we have Retired for Life, and then we have Rick's Outdoors. Rick and Donnie are still busy doing the wood, and they're real busy doing pine straw. If you don't know what pine straw is, you should go and look at their channel. It's apparently a landscaping decoration, I guess you'd call it. So, and it's done a lot, I guess, apparently down that way in South Carolina, North Carolina, maybe into Tennessee, I'm not sure, or Georgia, I'm not sure where it all goes, but certainly we don't do that here. I've never ever seen that. So anyway, it's kind of a neat thing. They're busy with that, and busy with their lawn cutting, and busy with the wood. This fella here, he's just cruising along, I guess. Knowles Garden Tractors and Firewood. Anyway, soon to be getting to the firewood. I got 16 cords of wood to cut, so that's going to keep me busy for 3 or 4 years probably. Anyway, all right, here we are back again. So the camera shut off on me at the 30-minute mark, so I thought I restarted the camera, and I finished all the stickers all through here, and I went on with my foolishness as I normally do, and I went to close up the chat, and here I had not started the camera, so there we go. Let's try it again, I guess. So we start here at Rick's. Rick, Twin Brook Acres. This is where I kind of cut off here. So we start with Rick and Twin Brook Acres. Then we have Everyday Projects with Craig. Then we have Artie. Artie's the man to go and see or talk to about Gravely two-wheel walk behind tractors. He's the man to talk to about problems. He's got the answers. Then we have Outdoors in 608. Tucker and I out and about. Todd Raven. Big Sons is cutting grass. Down Family Firewood is bundling wood. Log Father's always busy. Robert Little in my busy little shop. Leather work and tool restorations. Good channel there. And we have Larry Cluck Outdoors. Ross on the Land. K&L Firewood. Well, they just got finished with their Hoosier Firewood Hysteria. That went on Friday and Saturday. There should be all kinds of videos coming out on what they do there. They cut, split, and stack wood for the veterans campground there. And a lot of YouTube channels go to that, so there's going to be all kinds of videos coming out on that. So take a watch for those. Then we have Gator's World. Gator had his little generator that he bought here lately. He rigged up a wire to it so that he could charge the battery if the battery goes dead, because it's such a small little unit and well packed in tightly that you can't get to the battery to charge it easily. So he came up with a system to do that, so that's a good thing. Then we have the Bradleys in Catbird Hill. John, Father and Son Outdoors, Club Dora, Alan, and we have Tractor Talk with Gary. Gary had another, I think it was part 2 of the auction that was down that way. I'm going to say in Iowa somewhere. I forget now just where it was, but oh boys, there's a lot of big machinery down that way. Yeah. The big auctions too. Big, big, big. All kinds of stuff for sale. Then we have Steve, Rusty Wrench Restorations. Steve's got a great channel going there too. We just passed 1,000 subscriber mark. And he's into restoring any kind of tractor or equipment, moving things or anything like that. He just finished up a John Deere 300 industrial tractor. He has a number 70 John Deere skid steer that he's been working on. Has it all painted but not back together yet, but that'll be coming up soon. And he's also got a case skid steer that he's going to fix up and resell. Not going to restore it, he's just going to fix it up and make it work. And what else? Oh, yes, the Cub Cadet that he's going to fix up. I'm going to be interested in that one. It's a Cub Cadet 72 model, and the year would be between 67 and 69, 1967, 1969. 7 horsepower Kohler, and he's going to paint her all up, and he's going to put a diesel Kubota tractor engine in, 2-cylinder. So there's a good restoration project there. That's going to be interesting to watch. And those videos should be all coming out within the next little while, I would say. And I think he's got there's one more plow day he's got coming up yet too. If you like plowing with antique tractors, good channel to watch. He does a great job of videoing that. So I guess that's going to be it for our Sunday afternoon fireside chat. I just want to say hello and thanks very much to all the new subscribers. And if you're interested, I guess you are, in my channel, well then there's all kinds of videos there. I think there's 760 videos there to watch if you're interested. Flip back through, although I don't have any playlists or them kind of things. I'm not really up on this stuff too much, so. But there are 760 videos. If you want to scroll through them, there's something there for you to watch, that's for sure. Now, yeah, so have a great day wherever you're at and whatever you're doing. The more videos getting long again, so we'll say goodbye for now and we'll be chatting with you soon.